Just a quick shout out to our supporters over at Patreon, our Twitch subscribers, and you the viewer for watching this video. It really means the world to us, and because of you, videos like this are possible, so thank you all so very much. Hello and welcome to my Tanking 101 guide. My name is Brian and this is Work the Game. In this video we're going to be focusing on 5 key areas that really all tanks should know when starting out. First we're going to cover info on the 3 tanks themselves, then qualities of a good tank, followed by a specific targeting macro which can help communicate the kill order and thus help you manage your hate effectively. This is really important at the early levels. Then we have general tips and tricks, and then finally we're going to cover the cross-roll abilities and just go over each one so you have a good understanding of what they do. If you're looking for more detailed information regarding these 3 tanks, I recommend checking out our other guides that are focusing in on each one specifically, or you can always check out anybody else's guides as well. There's a lot of really good content out there, a lot of good content creators, so make sure you give them some love. Now let's go ahead and dive into the 3 tanks: Paladin, Warrior, and Dark Knight. Something Dark Knight. Anyway, sorry about that. The Paladin carries a sword and shield, and it's obviously available from the start. Its base class is Gladiator. This is a damage mitigation machine. You have your sword and your shield can block both physical and magical damage. The party mitigation for the Paladin is also superb. You have a lot of options in your toolkit and a lot of ways to mitigate damage. This is a really good tank. It's very classic in its nature. So if you're really looking for that fantasy tank style job, this might be it for you. Now the Warrior carries a great axe. It's also available for the starting class being Marauder. It has solid DPS and a high HP pool. As of patch 4.11, it also has party mitigation, which has been a real boost to the job itself. The Warrior is a beast, very fierce and ferocious, and if this is the fantasy that you're looking for, this might be the tank for you. Then finally we have the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight carries a great sword. Now you're going to have to clear a Realm Reborn content and gain access to Ishgard to be able to unlock this job. It does have solid DPS at the cost of MP, and it's a really good gap closer. Dark Knight is a lot of fun to play, but you're going to have to do some work to be able to gain access to it. So what are some of the qualities of a good tank? Well, in game, they face enemies away from the party. On the enemy's target indicator on the floor, you're going to see a little arrow pointing in the direction that the enemy is facing. Pay attention to this. This is what you want pointing to you all the time. You'll also want to make sure that there isn't anybody in your party that is behind you. Now, a part of their responsibility falls on them, but just keep an eye out on what's going on the battlefield itself in case you need to reposition the enemy. A good tank has the ability to hold hate. This means that they understand their skills and their rotations. The early part of the game is the toughest that you'll experience. Later parts of the game you'll have more tools to actually work with, but for the most part it's about managing that hate and communicating with your allies. So this really translates to hitting each enemy on the battlefield at least a few times. When you target an enemy, you can actually see how much hate you have on it by using the party list. A represents the main target of the enemy. Then you'll see 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. designating who has the most hate after the main target. Another quality of a good tank is that they manage their cooldowns effectively. This can go both ways. I've seen tanks overuse their cooldowns and not have them set up for the right moment, and then I've seen tanks never use cooldowns for fear that they might have a need for them. The fact is most cooldowns usually range from 30 seconds to 90 seconds. That means you can use them quite often. Typically on pulls up to bosses, you should feel free to use these as much as possible. During a boss fight, you might want to keep an eye out for tank busters and various different things that the boss does. That comes from experience during the fight and learning various rotations of enemies, and you're going to get those skills with time. So to start, especially at the early game, use your cooldowns, learn them, see what they do. They're going to really help out the rest of your party, and I think they're going to overall improve your experience of the game itself. Finally, another really good quality to have is you're going to be the pacemaker of the party. What this means is you need to be able to be comfortable running forward first. You're going to be setting the pace for the group itself. There's a lot of things that can go into this later on in the game, but for the most part, run forward and have fun. You're going to be the first to engage, you're going to be the one who's responsible for marking a kill order if you desire to do so, and you're going to be the one keeping everybody alive and having fun. Hopefully having fun. I have a lot of fun as a tank. Some new tanks typically say they actually have a problem with being the pacemaker. They're not so confident in where to go or where to run, and we're going to cover that here in just a minute. So we talked about having the ability to hold hate. Here I want to focus in on a specific target macro that I've created that really helps communicate the kill order. The reason why this is important is that if you're having a difficult time holding hate, having everybody focus in on the same target will allow you to do your hate building combo repeatedly. This should keep the target focused in on you the whole time. If you and the DPS are bouncing from target to target to target, it can be rather difficult and frustrating to be able to keep the hate because other players namely want to be able to do their job right, and that's burn down the target as quickly as possible. So that target macro includes for me a specific party line. This is just for fun, but you can write anything you want to write there if you like to roleplay just even a little bit. But really the meat of the macro starts with /focus target and then brackets T. This is going to mark your first target as your focus target. This is a special command. Then it's going to mark the target with enemy sign attack 1. The next line says target back, and this is going to move to your next target that is available to hit. Then it's going to mark that target with enemy assign attack 2. The final line returns you back to your focus target. To you, it's going to look like nothing has happened except for 2 enemy assigns have appeared over your closest targets. This means that the target you started out on is going to be the target that everybody focuses in on, and the target that's marked with the 2 is where everybody's going to move once that target is dead. Once you have one target down, you can reapply this macro, and it's very handy. You can also modify this macro to make as many targets as you want. This focuses on 2, but if you wanted to focus in on 5, you can. I really hope you make this your own, and I really hope it ends up working out well for you. It has helped me so much in the past that I really hope it helps you out too. Alright, so now let's dive into general tips for tanking 101. The first one I have to just point you to is the Hall of the Novice. Do the Hall of the Novice. You can kick this off from any of the city's Adventurers Guild. Just look for the little leaf icon over the NPC's head and you'll be in the right spot. Completing the Hall of the Novice is going to give you a ring that rewards 30% XP bonus for any job 30 and under. This is great because it also accounts for any job that you're also level synced on. So if you have a level 50 job and you're running a level 28 dungeon, well, 30% XP bonus, baby. Another good general tip is that if you're new and you've never run the content, just let all the other players know that you're new. The community is really open and accepting of new players, and for the most part, you're going to have a really good experience. This helps sets the expectation. If a player thinks that you're well experienced and you've played this content enough, they might be caught off guard if it's taking a little bit more time. Because you can play multiple jobs on the same character, most other players actually have more than one job leveled up, and typically you'll find them full of advice. On that note, don't be afraid to ask for advice, and don't be afraid to accept it either. This ties into more of a personality trait in real life. Be gracious and accepting, and listen. It helps the overall mood, and it can help to build friendships that last a lifetime. Another general tip, keep an eye out on your enemy list. We talked about the party list before, but you have an enemy list. If you're having a hard time and you keep losing track of a specific enemy, if you're on mouse and keyboard, you can click the enemy list to target the specific enemy. Or if you're on a controller, you can hold down the left bumper or L1 respectively and press up and down on the D-pad to cycle through your enemy list and just your enemy list. And finally, I think this is actually the most important piece of advice. Take a deep breath, relax, and just keep practicing. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We've all been new before. Being new isn't a bad thing. In fact, we're really glad you're here and we're really glad you're interested in tanking. The game needs more tanks and healers, always. And learning these roles can help really improve your enjoyment of the game, especially when you don't have to wait in long queue times. Most of the tanks that I meet that really kind of feel this pressure, the pressure is applied by them because they want to do their best, and that's a good trait to have in anybody. But don't let that trait hold you back. At this point, we've talked about a lot of concepts, but we have one piece remaining. Cross-roll abilities. Cross-roll abilities are auto-learn based off your level, so you have no need to level another job anymore. Currently, you have up to 10 abilities, but you can only equip 5 abilities at any one time. What's really cool is that once you've unlocked one of these slots, you won't have it taken away when you're doing level sync content. So once you hit level 50, you're going to have access to all 5 abilities, even if you're running a level 15 dungeon. So let's go ahead and dive in and cover the different abilities and what they do. First, we have Rampart. Learned at level 8, this is going to overall reduce damage taken by 20%. This buff will last for 20 seconds, but its recast time is set at 90 seconds. In the grand scheme of things, 90 seconds isn't that long. In a typical dungeon, that means you can fire this off multiple times. And 20% damage taken overall reduced by 20% is fantastic. This is a great and powerful ability and one you should consider taking. Next you have Low Blow. This is an ability learned at level 12 and it's off the global cooldown. This is a stun, it does no damage, and because it's off the global cooldown, you can use this at any time. It does have a recast of 25 seconds, so this is going to be a stun that you can pull off at least twice a minute. Next you have Provoke, learned at level 16. This is going to put you at the top of the enemy's hate list. The recast is pretty low at 40 seconds, and this is fantastic especially when you get into 8-man content for a concept called tank swapping, in which that you need to replace the tank because he has some certain debuff on him. This can also help you get on top of the enemy list, especially if you're coming back from death, or if you just need to grab somebody from far away. At level 20, you learn Convalescence. This has a longer recast time, around 120 seconds, but this is going to increase your own HP recovery via healing magic by 20%. This is a great buff to help out healers. If your HP is low, if they're struggling, you can use this to really help improve their overall healing. So using this at the right time can really help get you back up to full strength quickly. At level 24, you learn Anticipation. This is going to increase your parry rate by 30%, and it's going to last for 20 seconds. It's on a 60-second recast time, and the reason you might consider taking this is that parrying reduces damage taken. It's just another damage mitigation cooldown that you can apply to all 3 tanks. At level 32, you learn Reprisal. With the 60-second recast time, you can lower the target's damage dealt by 10%. This is going to only last for 5 seconds. Because of the debuff's duration, this is definitely going to be situational. So it's up to you if you really want to take it, it can be handy. Reducing anything by 10% is often a good thing. This can be really handy for tank busters if you're aware that one is about to happen. Speaking of being aware, Awareness, learned at level 36. This nullifies the chance of suffering critical damage and it lasts for 25 seconds. It's on a 120-second cooldown. Enemies and bosses can inflict critical hit damage to you. What this does is it takes away that ability, thus effectively adding something else to mitigate damage for you. At level 40, you learn Interject. This will silence the target for 1 second. This is an interrupt for magic. If you're facing off against a caster or an ability that needs to be silenced, this is the skill that you want. However, it does no damage. This is just for a 1-second silence. At level 44, tanks learn Ultimatum. This is a new ability to Stormblood. This provokes nearby enemies, placing yourself on the top of their enemy list. This is an AoE provoke. Now the recast time is at 90 seconds where provoke is at 40 seconds, but this will also add to an AoE group. This is one of those situational and probably content specific abilities, so this is something that you're just going to have to kind of feel your way through and ask for other tanks for advice before starting any kind of big pull. The last crossroll ability that a tank learns is Shirk. This is on a 120-second recast time, but it diverts 25% of the hate that you have to a target party member. This will typically be thrown over to another tank. If you push this to a caster or to a white mage, you've effectively become a troll at this point. But with tank swapping, just like with Provoke, this is a way that the tank can provoke and then you can shirk more hate over to them, thus ensuring a smooth and easy transition over to the new tank. There is a lot of join tanking, and it's one of the roles that I really enjoy in this game. I think it's actually one of the easiest roles, but it does come with a lot of overhead. It does come with a lot of confidence that needs to happen. It does come with a lot of, trial and error. The biggest takeaway I hope you get from this video itself is ask questions and don't be afraid. Tanking isn't for everyone, but until you've given it a good shot, you might not know it's not for you. Hopefully this guide and this introduction has been helpful. Hopefully this helps introduce you to the crossroll abilities. And like I said at the top of this video, please check out our other guides for the tanks specifically. Hopefully they help you get a better understanding of each tank's strengths and weaknesses. Also, please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button and tell your friends about what we do here. It really helps us grow and we do appreciate it. But for Work to Game, my name's Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video and we hope to see you in our next. I wish you the best of luck out there and I really hope you enjoy this role. Again, thanks for watching and take care.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Brian, do you think there's anywhere they could catch us in the meantime?
Right now, Chris, we're probably on Twitch. If it's probably in the afternoon, it could be you. Sometimes you see my face. And we also found this random guy, named Kevin on the street somewhere.
I accidentally left my password written on the side of my car.
Oh man, that was really a big mistake. But guys, we really appreciate it if you guys hit the link in the description below for our Twitch page. We'd love to see you over there. And you can even subscribe to us over on Twitch.
If you're Amazon Prime, that could even be free.
Oh my gosh, what a deal.
Well, cool. Well, thanks guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.